Just let me hear some of that rock and roll music. Any old way you choose it.
Hello, this is Katie with Vintage and Vinyl, and I'll be spinning some rockin' 50s records every week here on my channel, as well as sharing some cool Coca-Cola collectibles and other neat vintage finds. Stay tuned! Hey guys, this is Katie with Vintage and Vinyl, back with another great video for you today. In this video, we are talking vintage advertisements. I have a lot of 100 vintage advertisements I bought off of eBay for only $10, and I'm so excited to share them with you. These came from a 1948 National Geographic magazine. It was a special travel Christmas edition, and the ads are fabulous. I am a total sucker for these vintage graphics. And it's not just the graphics that are cool. You can actually take a whole step back in time and see what people were wearing, see what prices things were back then, how things were engineered, how things looked, what kind of cars they had, cameras, TVs, the whole kit and caboodle. And that's what's really fun about these ads. And they're inexpensive. I mean, if you were to buy one of these small format like ads, you'd only pay about $1 or $2, maybe not even that. Now behind me there's a larger ad here that would have come out of like a bigger Life magazine, and I probably paid only $4 for it. And yes, I had it custom framed, but you could choose to just get a simple and inexpensive frame and put these in and put them all around your house, and you've got some great, almost free art. Or you can line up a whole row of vintage cameras that you've collected and put the advertisements for each of that kind of camera behind the camera, which I think is really cool and great for junk journaling too. There's just so many things you can do with these ads, and they're very inexpensive, which I think is fun. Now, I love some of the wording in these ads. I find them really funny, and we'll get to one in a minute that just cracks me up. But the first ad I'm going to share with you, guys are going to have to nerd out with me a little bit here. I'm talking records. I found this Columbia Records ad, and it is not just your standard record ad, and I was over the moon when I found this, because this ad showcases record history. Yes, that's right, record history. Now, if you know anything about records, in 1948, which is when this ad was printed, 48 is when Columbia standardized the record industry with 33 1/3 RPM. Before that, we had 78 shellac discs, which were heavy, they were cumbersome, and they broke easily, and they only held about 5 minutes of music per side, which wasn't very great because you had to keep changing the records, and it was just a mess. Of course, in 1930, RCA did try to create 33 1/3 RPM, but it was at the height of the Great Depression, and it was an utter failure because no one wanted to spend money on new equipment, new records. It was way too expensive, and the whole idea just went right out the window. But Columbia invented the micro groove, and they figured out that they could squeeze exactly 25 minutes of music per side on a record, and they called it 33 RPM because it spins at 33 1/3 revolutions per minute, and they marketed it, and it took off like wildfire. So I think this ad's really cool because it's showcasing record history, advertising the new 33 1/3 RPM long play vinyl, which is awesome. So the advertisement reads, the first man at the top in the ad says, "How long will it play?" Then the girl at the bottom says, "Columbia long playing records give you up to 50 minutes of music on one LP, uninterrupted music at its finest. Enjoy uninterrupted music now. It's easy and inexpensive to adapt your present radio or phonograph for long playing records. Ask your dealer about the Columbia player attachment and the new Columbia LP catalog, the world's largest catalog of uninterrupted music. Columbia Records LP is the new standard of record perfection." Oh my word, is that not just so cool? I am going to get this either framed or just have it by my record player because I'm in total love with this advertisement. It couldn't be better. Now the next ad is advertising 45s and a new 45 changer, which was a big deal because in 1949 is when 45s actually took off and they became really popular. And RCA was the company that invented them. So they're advertising here their 45 records, and they're also advertising their changer. Now the changer is kind of neat because it would stack a whole bunch of 45s on it, and then it would play one, flip it over, move it aside, and then the stack would just keep going down until you got all of your 45s played, which was pretty nice because changing a 45 gets annoying because they only hold about 2 minutes of music per side, which is about one song. So 45s are great to collect, but they are a pain if you're wanting to just chill out and listen to vinyl. So this is a really cool ad for RCA, and it advertises the record changer. You can see it there. And then the 45s. Now, the woman in the photo is representing Madam X. Now, Madam X was the code name during research and development for an entirely new system of recorded music made by RCA. The remarkable background of Madam X. Now the identity of Madam X, the unknown, in a long search for tone perfection has been revealed. From this quest emerges a completely integrated record player system, records and automatic player, the first system to be entirely free of distortion. The research began 11 years ago at RCA Laboratories, and it goes on and talks about the science of it all, and then it says this record is of non-breakable vinyl plastic and it's wafer thin. Yet it plays as long as a conventional 12-inch record. The new RCA Victor automatic record changer holds up to 10 of the new records, 1 hour and 40 minutes of playing time, and can be attached to almost any radio, phonograph, or television combination. Is that not so awesome? Now, the one thing I wish this ad would have included is the price. I don't know how much that changer would have been, but I'm sure it might have been a luxury back in the day. But oh, is that not so awesome? So these two ads are definitely top picks of mine from the lot because they are so cool representing record history. All right, thanks for nerding out with me about records. Now we can resume our normal programming with other advertisements that I think are cool. This next ad is for a classic car. Now it's for Plymouth, and I believe, if I remember correctly, my dad said that my grandparents had a Plymouth at one point. I could be wrong, but I'll have to ask him. But look at that blue car and the white wall tires. Now, I saw another Plymouth ad a while ago, and it actually boasts that you could fit 8 people inside of a car. And I guess longer station wagon type cars were bigger. Now, this has 6 people. If you count all the people inside the car, there are 6 people there, which I think is quite a bit for a car. And it's really a cool ad. This ad is so funny to me. This is the one that makes me chuckle because it talks about safety. And it's not safety like we would think, like seat belts or airbags or any of that. That, of course, came later. But it talks about the glass being safer, which I find just funny. So I'll read the ad. It says, its distinctive styling goes far beyond just pleasing the eye. Here's a design that flows naturally from advanced engineering to fit form to function to offer you a great new Plymouth that inside and out is better in every way. Beauty with reason. That sweeping new low silhouette is something to see, and this is a beauty with reason. It helps you give a car that's easier to use in all ways. Easy to start, easy to drive, and easy to park, and of course, easy to see out of. Beauty for comfort. The beautiful new interior styling is even better than it looks. The famous chair height seats are now even wider. There's plenty of room for long legs and high hats. High hats. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Windows lift and lower with ease. And then the funny part, it says beauty for safety. The increased glass area is nice to look at from the outside, but is there to look out from the inside as well. Both windshield and rear window are larger. You get a clear, undistorted view of the road, which is funny to me because I get how that could be a benefit, but it's not in today's terms of safety. That's really kind of the least worrisome thing on our list. When you're talking about looking out the front, I mean, yeah, you want to see, the road really well, but there's just so many other things to me that are more important in a car, but that's the modern me talking. I guess if I lived back then, that would be a really big deal. So I love this ad. It says Plymouth builds great cars. And I like the confetti, graphic with the blue car. And of course you can see the guy wearing a hat. It's probably a fedora. I just love this ad. Really cool. Now the next advertisement is for Parker pens. And this is for 51, which is the new Parker pen. And it says, never before a pen so completely satisfying. It's the new Parker 51. Now this is sort of a simple graphic ad, but look at the typeface. Something about that is so striking and so pleasing. It's just a very cool ad. And it continues on to say that the pens are $13.50. The pencils are only $6.75, but if you want the whole set, it will cost you $19.75. Such writing with ease, such dependability, never before existed in any pen. Only now have new materials made them possible. 14 precision advances mark the new 51. With it, writing is gliding. Even filling becomes a pleasure, quick and sure. You see the ink level. There's a new guard against leaking, even at the highest flight levels. But these are only a few of the 51's new advantages. And then it goes on to tell you more. I just think that's so cool. Now, the advertisement for pens not leaking, that's amazing to me that even then that was a problem. We still have problems with pens exploding now. No one's ever really been able to figure that one out. Okay, so this next ad is really cool. It's for Dumont, and it's a television advertisement. And I think that these televisions are so cool because they're classy looking. Today our TVs look kind of modern and futuristic, which is fine. But these old televisions and the wood cases are just so beautiful to me. And I saw on, I think it was Lacey Faye, the vintage girl next door. She's got a great YouTube channel. You really ought to check her out. She has one of these old TVs, and they gutted the tubes and everything out of it, and they were able to retrofit a small modern TV inside, and it still looks like the old TV. It's so cool. So you guys got to go check that out. But it says life-size television, the largest direct view screen made, a picture unsuppressed in clarity and brilliance. New sensitivity, freedom from interference, cabinets of distinguished design. See Dumont and see television at its finest. Now this is advertising a wide screen, which nowadays this looks pretty little. But I'm sure back then a 19-inch tube TV would be a pretty big luxury. And this TV even boasts that it has FM radio, and it says that it has a record player for the new 45 RPM records. Oh, that's so cool. One of the complete line of television receivers. Check out Dumont. First with the finest in television. Now, I just love this couple sitting there watching that TV. Holy smokes, is that awesome. So that's Dumont. Now I have another ad for televisions, and this ad is cool because it looks very fancy and very expensive. Let me find the ad. I thought I had it next, but evidently I didn't. It's down in the pile here. I'm sorry guys, I should have had this a little bit better organized. Where did you go? It's here, I promise. It hasn't gone anywhere. There it is. This is for Admiral TV. This is the magic mirror television with the big 16-inch screen. So this was advertising, what did I say, 19-inch. This is 16-inch screen. But what's really cool about it is it comes with FM, AM, dynamic radio, and this whole fancy record player. Look at that. I mean, wow. That is a fancy setup. And the cost of this whole cabinet, it comes in a mahogany cabinet, which just goes to show you the quality back then was better. A full mahogany cabinet, it would have cost you $695 plus $9.75 federal tax. That is really cool. Now, of course, that was expensive back then, but now a TV is easily over $1,000. And you don't even get a record player with it, so that's cool. It says, magnificent, beautiful, clear, the home entertainment that can be yours through the years with this luxury model Admiral. Magic Mirror television guaranteed to uphold any other set. Anywhere, anytime. Super powered for clear reception, even in fringe areas. Sharp, automatically synchronized mirror-like pictures on direct view, 125 square inch screen, 2-speed phonograph plays the standard and the new 7-inch 45 or the 12-inch long playing records automatically. And of course it plays 78s. 4 hours of uninterrupted music with FM AM dynamic radio. Static-free FM is the finest and clearest available, and the AM is unsurpassed in performance and tone. And interiors, decorators triumph, compact in size, everlasting in style and beauty. So I had to read that whole ad because that's just fabulous. Oh my word, I love this so much. Now, this next ad is for Bell Telephone Systems, Bell Electric. And the reason I like this ad is because I got to visit the Telephone Museum in St. Louis, Missouri. I think I've talked about this before, but if you're ever in St. Louis, it is only 20 minutes outside of the main part of the city where the arch is, so it's not that far. And it's this little unassuming building, but I tell you, it is worth it. It is curated by former Bell employees, and it is like a whole history of telephones. They have the really early telephones, and then even some of the 1980s phones. They have World War II phones that were used during the war, and the cool thing is you can actually do some of the interactive exhibits. There's a tour guide there that was an original Bell employee, and she gives you a full tour of kind of the history of the telephone system and phones, and then you can use all kinds of different phones and test them out. You can even be a telephone operator, you know, and use one of those machines. Gosh, I'm blanking on the name. Man, I can't think of it. Please leave me a comment down below, and you know what I'm talking about, the telephone operators, you know, they pull in one little thing and stick it in the other so that you can connect the call. Oh, that just drives me nuts. Anyway, back to what I was saying, definitely recommend the Telephone Museum, and this Bell Electric telephone ad is fabulous in my opinion because it reminds me of being at the Telephone Museum. So it says telephone service keeps right on improving. Long distance is faster. Calls go through on the average 1.6 minutes, 9 times out of 10 while you hold the line. Local service is better. The operator answers or the dial tone comes in faster than any other time since before the war. Calls go through promptly and accurately, and equipment troubles are fewer than ever. Those reported by customers have decreased 15% from a year ago. Wow. I love that. Calls go through faster than any time since before the war. So this is a fun ad, and I love the graphic of the telephone. This will go right in my collection of Bell telephone advertisements. Now, this next ad, it was one that caught my eye, of course, because of the classic car, but also because it's advertising a particular type of car, which I keep hearing about in the book that we've been reading here on my channel, the 1953 saucy romance novel. It features a Coral Studebaker, so I think that this is fun. This is a 1950s Studebaker. Of course, it came out in 1948, but it's advertising the 1950 Studebaker, which is really interesting. I guess they printed this a couple of years before. But it says, presenting the next look in cars, the new 1915 Studebaker. And there it is. It's a red color, which is so cool. And I think it's New York. And this building, you can correct me in the comments if you have input that's different than mine. But I think that this is the Chrysler Building in New York. It looks like it, and I love the cityscape with that car. It's so cool. And I keep using the word cool, but I just think that these ads are really cool. It says, success breeds success. The car that led in modern design and new moves still more spectacularly out ahead. The new 1950s Studebaker is here, and you can see at a glance that it's America's next look in cars. Awesome ad. Now, this advertisement here that I'm going to show you next is for Kodak, and it's advertising Kodak's movie camera, the Economy 8, and it says it's only $89 including federal tax. But look at that old camera. I love on Kodak ads that they put the film on the side. I just think that's very cool. So it's got the classic Kodak logo on the bottom. It says Cine Kodak Reliant Camera, sprockless loading luxury features, moderate price, 8mm roll film economy, combined with wonderful ease of use. That's the big news about this new Cine Kodak camera. The Reliant use, low cost, 8mm film for full color, black and white movies indoors and out. And they're so easy. No threading, no teeth, or no sprockets to engage. Just slip the film into the gate, onto the take-up reel, and replace the cover. That's all there is to it. So I think that's fabulous. Love these ads. I mean, again, look at that graphic right there. So cool. And, of course, $89. I mean, for a camera, that's pretty cheap compared to now. I mean, back then, I'm sure, again, that was a lot of money. But now, you know, cameras are expensive, like, you know, $800 to $1,000 for a good camera anyway. Now, I love this advertisement. It features probably one of the jolliest Santas I have ever seen, next to the Coke Santa, because he's really jolly. But this is for New York Central Railway, and it has this Santa. And of course, I think this magazine, this National Geographic, was around Christmas time when it came out, and it was their like travel Christmas edition. So here's this Santa, and look at his face. Will I not be displaying this at Christmas? You better believe it, I will. It says, take your pick of the pack. The world's greatest fleet of newly equipped trains is ready now to speed you home for the holidays. Enjoy the new in New York Central. Leave weather out of your plans, and this year make a holiday homecoming your gift. Then it shows the different lines you can take, and they're all coming out of Santa's sack. So you've got the Empire State Express that goes from New York to Buffalo, to Cleveland and Detroit. Then you have the New England State, Chicago to Boston. The Pacemaker that goes from Chicago to Toledo to Cleveland and New York. Then the Ohio State Limited, which goes from Cincinnati, Dayton, Columbus, and New York. And then you have the Twilight Limited, which goes from Chicago to Detroit, and many others. But I think that is a clever ad. I mean, I love that it's Santa's sack. I love that the trains are speeding out of his sack. And it's just so fabulous. So that's a really cool ad. Now, most of the ads we've looked at has had kind of solid background colors. I mean, most of the borders at least are white, but this ad is yellow, and something about the yellow with this perfectly looking 1950s woman is just the best thing you will probably ever see. This is an ad for Motorola portables, and look at the color and look at the woman. Does she, I know this is 1948, but does she not look like that perfect poster 1950s woman? I mean, holy cow, that's fabulous. And you've got all this down here advertising different things like their portable TV and record players. So it says, here comes the fun, here comes beauty, here comes value, and here comes the new Motorola portables. More fun wherever you go with the new Motorola Portable. Careful craftsmanship gives you plus values like the maximum sensitivity and selectivity that knifes through local stations to bring in distant ones. Now, if you want the model that's shown in the picture, it's $29.95. But you have to pay extra for the AC or DC battery, AC or DC battery, which makes it work, which is kind of silly, and they don't tell you how much that is. Then it comes in maroon or black color with bronze gold trim. The next model, which is a little bit cheaper, is $19.95, and it comes in tan or green, but you have to get the batteries or the AC/DC battery separate, which they, again, don't say how much that is, but that's kind of silly. I think they're still doing that kind of thing today. Batteries never come with anything when you need them, right? Then at the bottom, I find this really interesting. It's a Motorola portable television. Now, most people back then only could afford one television, and it was a big deal just to have a TV, let alone a radio or a stereo. So I can't imagine many people would be buying this, but this is a Motorola portable television for $199.95. Yes, that was probably really expensive back then. It says, take your television thrills from place to place wherever AC current is available. Then it also is advertising the new 45 PM automatic radio phono. Your favorite recorded music whenever you want. Plays the new 7-inch records, 45 RPMs with 5 minutes of music per side. How cool is that? Again, advertising the year that 45s came out and a whole player for 45. So I am just in love with that. So cool. Now, this next advertisement will be the last one I show you. Now, I am going to show you one small ad on the back, but I'm going to count this as the last one. It's for Remington Shaver, and it's a Christmas ad, but I find this ad really cool because this is featuring a Remington shaver, and I have a Remington record, a Remington record that came out in 1950, and this is a cardboard record that came along as a little advertising piece bonus with the Remington shaver. So here's the Remington shaver, and then here's the record. Now, I can't take credit for this record. I got the idea from Melody, Melody Harris. She's in the chat, and she's also on Instagram at Melody's Mini Miscellaneous, but she had this in her collection, and of course I had to pick it up because it's so cool. This is music to shave by, and it came with your electric shaver for Remington, and it has Bing Crosby, Louis Armstrong, Rosemary Clooney, and one of my favorites, the High Lows. So I think this is very cool. This is just a little novelty record. I mean, it's not really meant to play super well, but it's just fun. And I love now that I've actually gotten to see a real life ad for Remington shavers from close to that same time period as that record. So this is a cool Christmas ad. Now, I think those are mercury beads. I just am so in love with the graphics on this. And it's for Remington shaver. It's for the deluxe model. And it says Diamond Hone Remington Contour Deluxe Electric Shaver. Shaves dry, no lather, and no blades. Now, I find this kind of funny. It says that the Remington Contour Deluxe Shaver will find proof to the perfect gift. Diamond Hone cutting blades and the exclusive Remington Contour shaving head to give him a cleaner, faster shave, a rich ivory case, and gleaming chrome hair pockets. New side trim add masculine elegance to the design. So evidently people are thinking about the design of their razor and whether it has masculine elegance, making sure it's not too curly, but it's elegant at the same time. I don't know why that strikes me funny. I mean, times have certainly changed, but look at that. Oh, that's funny. I love the words in these ads. Now, the last ad I'm going to show you is the back of this ad. And why I chose it is not only for the Santa graphic, but for what it advertises. It's advertising Leica cameras. And again, in the book I've been reading on my channel, Katie and Her Camera by Louis Holbert, it's a 1953 book. It's a romance novel for young moderns, but it talks about Leica cameras and Rolleiflexes. And Katie, the main character in the book, gets a job with one of the photographers in the city, and she's learning to do photography, and she gets a choice to choose between using a Leica or a Rolleiflex. And in the book, they keep referring to Ralph, who's the guy she's working for, and they always say, oh, you have Ralph's Rollie or you're using Rouse Leica. So I had to choose this ad because of that, and I think it's so cool. This is for Leica cameras, and it's around Christmas time, so it's the perfect gift in the holiday picture. This Christmas, give the finest photograph gift of all, a matchless Leica camera. You'll win the warmest Christmas praise. Make every holiday more memorable. Choose over 200 unique accessories to go with your Leica camera. And there it is. There is a real-life Leica. So that is cool. So I've showed you a Studebaker and a Leica from our little book we've been reading. You've gotten to see real-life advertisements from the time period of those two items, which a camera cut off there. I had been rambling on for so long, sharing my love of these vintage advertisements. Please let me know which one was your favorite. I hope you enjoyed them, and I can't wait to see you all soon in the live chats. And don't forget, this Friday I will be live on Adam's channel. His channel is Record Crate. I'll be live for his Coffee and Vinyl show at 8:30 a.m. this Friday. Of course, you can always catch the replay, and I will do my best to link it to my channel as well, so you guys can go back and watch that. But I'll be talking records with Adam, so that's going to be a lot of fun. And I've got a great video coming up for you Friday about what I've been listening to on my own turntable. So I hope you guys will stay tuned for that. As always this week, be kind, support as many YouTube live events as you can and live sales, and I hope that you will stay in, stay safe, and binge YouTube.
That's why I go for that rock and roll music any old way